Guys, we are previewing the big game this coming weekend. Super Sunday, Arsenal versus Man City at the Emirates. We're going to break it down all for you. As always, I'm joined with my boy Marky Mark for this one. Both coming off 3-0 wins, Mark. Both title challengers?
Yeah, absolutely. Why not? Why is that even a question?
Well, it could be like last season where no one challenges, right?
Well, that's true, but this season's really is very different. Liverpool do not look the same. Arsenal have strengthened massively. Man City have had an up and down sort of, but yet have had that up and down type of season so far. It was only 3-4 games playing, but their last game against Manchester United, they actually put it on them. There were so many people, so many pundits, so many influencers saying that Manchester United, don't be surprised if they're gonna win or nick a draw or something like that. And I was like, it's at home, it's Manchester City, and they're playing Man U. Like, there's no way there is going to be anything apart from a Manchester City win. That's just the way that I view it. What do you think?
United, they're terrible, man. I don't know how much to read into that game.
Exactly.
Because, look, let's break it down, yeah? We're both coming off 3-0 wins. So we'll do the Arsenal first. Arsenal, Forest win, pretty routine. You and I called it on this podcast last week when we previewed the Arsenal Forest game. We said 3-0 with Gyökeres to score. And you even said we should lace a bet.
We should have laced a bet. We should have.
Yeah,
we should have.
Anyway, next time, everyone watching, next time we're going to do it, I'm going to lace the bet live, Marky Mark. So we'll probably lose money next time. But anyway, we got the win, 3-0. Zubimendi pulling the strings, very good. Madueke and Eze, fantastic games for both of them. You could have made man of the match arguments for a few of the people, but a fairly routine win. Ange ball will take a while to kick off, but you know, Ange being Ange, he's going to be open as hell, mate. So yeah,
they're gonna go down. They're gonna go down with Ange. I'm saying it here right now. They're gonna go down with it. This is exactly what's gonna happen. This is what's gonna happen. Yeah. Forget about the Arsenal game. That's different. You're there. You're going away to the Emirates. Yeah, but they will pull off some good wins at the beginning. Yeah, maybe 2 or 3 games, and then they're going to go down. And then that's when it's going to all capitulate. Watch. They need to change that manager ASAP. I know they just got it. I don't know why they got rid of Nuno. I was watching the game, the Sky Sports preview, you know, outside with the fans and stuff. I was listening to a lot of Nottingham Forest fans, and they were saying, why did we get rid of Nuno? He got us into Europe. He did so well. How are you going to judge him for a couple of games? So they were all disappointed. They're accepting the fact that Ange, but their owners made a massive mistake. They made a massive mistake. Well, you definitely can't put an attacking, crazy manager like Ange at a team like Nottingham Forest. He's going to be too open. You can't shove the whole team so far up the pitch. You can't do that. They're going to get split open. They're going to go down.
Well, Mark, let me tell you why they got rid of Nuno. It wasn't to do with his capabilities as a manager or the fact that they didn't rate him. He's obviously had a falling out, as you may or may not have seen, with Marinakis, and it's now just got to the point where it's got to the point of no return. And actually, rumour has it, Nuno and Marinakis were great. They had a great relationship. And if you remember last year, halfway through the season or partway through the season, Edu joined Forest. He left Arsenal.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yes.
And he joined there.
I see.
And from there's been some fractures between Nuno and Marinakis' relationship. It's almost like two's company, three's a crowd. And Nuno and Marinakis were in bed together, but Edu's come in as that young, hot secretary, and Marinakis' head has got turned. Nuno's got an issue with it, and that marriage broke down. And that actually, Nuno come out and said a couple of things in public, and he's just, you can't be saying too many things against the owner and expect to keep your job. I think Nuno was probably trying to get fired. I think there was no end result other than Nuno having to leave the club, but it was nothing to do with Nuno
That's a
being
big mistake. So
yeah.
It's all down to Arsenal's asset destroying clubs again, is it? coming into clubs, disrupting. No, it sounds what it is. You just said it.
Well,
he's coming,
Nuno's got to be better than that. You can't
the relationship.
You can't. Yeah, but Nuno, you're there as a manager. I know you get on with Marinakis. Anyway, either way, who's going to pay for this? It ain't going to be Nuno, because Nuno's stock has gone back up after he took over the last Premier League club he managed was Spurs. So he's come back. His reputation is as high as it's been again. So good on him.
For him, it's all right.
Exactly. Like you said,
must have got a payout.
The people in trouble are Forest. You're absolutely right. You got Ange coming in. You heard it here first, guys. Marky Mark calling it Forest to go down this season. I don't think that's too crazy a call. Right.
Before we get into the Arsenal, yeah, I was reading a stat, about Jose Mourinho. Do you know, for all his payouts from being sacked, he's accumulated over 100 million in just instant payouts. 100 million over.
Wow.
That is crazy. That is crazy. And that's not forgetting like how much he was earning whilst he was still managing, just to pay him off. Football money is absolutely crazy right about now. But anyways, let's get into the Arsenal preview. Right, Arsenal.
He smashed it,
You had a great game. I actually think I think you guys had a great game against Nottingham Forest. I mean, Zubimendi was absolutely on fire. And that goal, when I saw that volley go in, my first words were wow, and to message you, because I was majorly impressed. And then you got a brace as well. But I don't think Arsenal fans are getting too overexcited. I've been seeing a lot of the thumbnails of other influencers and stuff. Oh my God, Zubimendi's the one. I mean, come on. Last season in Spain, he scored 2 goals. None of them were in the box. None of them were out the box. And none of them were headers. So it was kind of like a freak sort of occasion where he scored 2 goals. The first goal was unbelievable. But yeah, what's your thoughts on the game that just happened first?
Yeah, I'm not getting too carried away about Zubimendi suddenly turning into a goal-scoring midfielder. It's not going to happen. That's fine, and that's not his job. I'm not too bothered about that. If Arsenal fans are getting carried away with that, fair play. I mean, he had a good game. I think that there's a few takeaways I have, Mark, and one of them
is the takeaways?
Ethan came on and again looked really direct and looked like someone that could create a bit. And again, look, I know it is against Forest at home. But the other big takeaway from me, Gyökeres got his goal, great, perfect, exactly what we want from him, right? Score all your goals at home, nick a couple away.
He is wicked. He is a wicked player, that Gyökeres. I'm happy that he scored that second goal, and the way that Eze bombed down the new 2 signings connected together. Those 2 signings are game changers. If you guys don't win the league with these 2 players, damn, what's going to happen to Mikel? But obviously, we've talked about that already. But Eze looks like he's going to be a real asset for you guys. And Gyökeres. Oh, and when Saka comes back, your front three is fire.
Yeah.
Do you think that's the best front three?
Depends, because you might have a front three of Ekitike, Isak and Salah, which on paper looks stronger. But the takeaway that I have, and I'll come back to that in a second, but the takeaway that I have is when I looked at the bench compared to last season, you looked at the bench this season and it was so strong. Now, bearing in mind, that bench that we were looking at where, yes, you've got the likes of Declan Rice on the bench, you've got Max Dowman, Ethan Wannieri, plus Trossard, or whoever else. But don't forget, Martinelli was on there. But don't forget, the bench would have had who's going to come back into that, or they'll go straight into the starting lineup. Some of them, but you still add Saliba, add Saka, add Jesus, add Kai Havertz, and this is the difference I do think between us last season and this season, is that when we had Saliba, Saka, Kai Havertz out, Odegaard out, we'd be like, well, we're bare bones here. What are we doing? We've got no one to bring on. Now we've got real strength in depth, good quality on the bench, good quality on the pitch. I do believe we've got the deepest squad of the big 6. That's my personal belief. And I do think there's a lot of balance there as well. I think we've got cover in pretty much every position. So that was my big takeaway. That, and we were just such a threat. I don't know who was better, Eze or Madueke. Madueke is so direct. And again, it is Forest. But I think so far so good for Madueke. Arsenal fans that signed that petition about we don't want Madueke in the club, I think they're getting a little bit quieter. So we'll see. Let's see what happens.
It's one game, though.
No,
it's one game.
Listen,
it's
I'm
one
not getting
game.
carried away. I'm
Relax.
not getting carried away. I'm not getting
Don't
carried away.
get
What
carried
I am
away.
saying
I did say this, Madueke. He'll look exciting from time to time, and Arsenal fans will start getting all happy. Oh my God, we got the best player and this and that. Bro, it's one game. Yeah, he had a good game for England and stuff. Has he got a goal? Has he got an assist yet?
He had a good game. He scored for England, didn't he? He had a good game against Liverpool. I felt he was our biggest threat. I think he looked very good for England. Really good finish, actually.
He did.
Which was good. What I'm saying is I'm not getting carried away. What I'm saying is, again, it's strength in depth, because if Saka was injured last season and Madueke, no one was going to be that direct against Forest. Doesn't matter. Last season, it wasn't going to happen. You know, who have you got that's going to do that? Now you got Max Dowman. Now you got Madueke. Now you can switch, you know, Eze, whatever. So I do like that. That was my big takeaway from the game. Glad Gyökeres got his goal. 3-0. Routine win. But the next game is where we're going to get judged. Now, before we come on to the preview with Man City have just taken out United, and they took him out very comfortably. Having said that, and Foden got his goal, and Haaland picked up a couple. Haaland should have had 3. And Reinders should have had 1 or 2 as well. I mean, that scoreline could have been 5 or 6. But what I will say is I'm not convinced that City looked good, but I feel like United made them look good as well. What do you think about that?
Yeah, but Man United are rubbish.
They are. Exactly. They've made them look good.
We're going to have a pod coming out solely on Ruben Amorim. And make sure you guys subscribe and wait for that and watch that one. But they are just all over the place. They look like they have no balance. I don't know what type of instructions they have been given by Ruben Amorim. Manchester City winning over them doesn't really say much or teach us much about what we've learned about Manchester City, because United are so bad. That's just my opinion. Now, this weekend, when they face Arsenal, that will be a proper test. But I think it will be a test that they'll come through, and we'll get to that in a minute. That's my thoughts.
Interesting. Yeah, I think United, for all their bluster in the second half, they still didn't muster any shots between 1 and 2-0. And that's the problem that United have got. Sometimes they flatter to deceive, even when they were trying to put it on City. A bit like when they played us first game of the season. It's like, okay, well, United have the ball, but it doesn't amount to anything. There's no shots being taken. Like, there was nothing. Almost shot comes at 2-0. You know, the game's done by then. And obviously that great save from Donnarumma, which I think they're harping on about, is like, wow, what an incredible save. It was a good save. Don't get me wrong. But, you know, I don't know if it's like going to go down as save of the season or anything. But anyway, yeah, I think that was, again, United, when they tried to put it on City, they're not clicking. Cunha wasn't there, but you still had Mbeumo, you still had Bruno, and Doku. His end product is just shocking. United are shocking. But here's the thing: no goalkeeper and no midfield is what I see when I see Man United. Yes, they've shifted out Onana. Bindia, I'm not sure on this keeper. I know Amorim came out and said, you know, this guy's going to be the next Edwin van der Sar. I mean, if you haven't got a goalkeeper and you've got no midfield, surely you're going to struggle against a side like Man City, right?
Any team that has a manager for Ruben Amorim is really gonna like struggle. So that's just my opinion. Ruben Amorim is just trash, isn't it?
Well,
it's actually true.
We'll come on to him. But all right, cool. So City get the 3-0 win. Arsenal get the 3-0 win. Mark, this game last season finished, so this upcoming game at the Emirates, this time last season when Arsenal played Man City, the game finished 5-1 to Arsenal. Do you think that result will have any bearing come Sunday?
Yeah, I do. I think that Pep's going to remember that, because I don't think many times that he's been destroyed like by 4 goals by any team. So that's definitely going to be on Pep's mind. And I think that he's going to want to get one over his previous assistant, who's now the manager of Arsenal and his direct competitor. For those reasons alone, Manchester City should be coming out there with a plan to win. And I hope they do that. I can't see Pep Guardiola coming there playing conservatively, playing for the draw. I don't think that's going to happen. I think he's going to come out gung-ho. And I think the number one player that you need to be aware of is Haaland, because right now he is absolutely on fire. Him alone can be a game changer for Manchester City. That's what I think. And I don't think that it's going to be 5-1. In fact, I think it's going to be the opposite.
What? 1-5?
Oh, fair enough. Not that one, not that opposite.
All right.
But I think it will be a Manchester City win. I do think that, and I think it's going to be a 1-0 win.
Fair play. I guess time will tell. We'll come on to predictions and we'll break them down in a sec. But Haaland, 11 goals in 6 games. Yes, all right, 5 of them were against Moldova, but the guy's on fire. He should have had a hat-trick. He should have had a hat-trick against United. I mean, he is going to be a handful and always is a handful. And he typically does all right against every single team that he plays. Now, Gabriel and Mosquera are going to get tested at the back because Saliba won't be back for that game. So you're right, Haaland's going to be a danger man. But is this game going to be won or lost in the midfield, do you think? Or is there more to it than that?
I think the game's going to be won up front, to be honest. That's what I really think.
But if Haaland doesn't get fed,
game,
how do they win? He needs to get fed. Do you think he's getting fed on the flanks or he's getting fed through the middle? Because he can't come back and do it all on his own. He needs service, right? That's something we can agree on.
Why can't he be fed through the middle and from the wings?
Hey, he can. That's what I'm saying. So
you got Reinders there. You got Phil Foden there. You got Bernardo Silva, who does look a little bit washed, to be fair, respectfully, because I was a big fan of Bernardo Silva. I think his time they should let him go. They should let Gundogan go if he hasn't gone already. Is Gundogan still there? I haven't seen him.
No, Gundogan's gone. So
he's gone. Okay, fine. Yeah, fair enough. But there's so many players that can feed him.
But which is why I ask.
And I think,
is it going to be one in the midfield? Because if you stifle that midfield, you're then looking City. If you're looking at it from a City perspective, they need to then get the ball out to the flanks. Doku looked great yesterday. Don't get me wrong, but again, it's against Man United.
He did.
He's going to be coming up against Timber. That's going to be a very different challenge for him. I'm not saying that he can't shine, but finally some end products from Doku. Is he going to be the main man, or is it going to be Phil Foden that can feed Haaland? Gone. You're going to ask me something?
Yeah, I was going to ask you. Don't you think that Jérémy Doku will run Timber ragged?
I mean, if you're asking me, no, not really.
It's not the fastest guy. His positional play is good. Defensively, he is good. But someone like Doku would be one type of player that could actually give Jurrien Timber a bit of a hard time. That's what I think. I think he'll be able to cut him and then feed Haaland. I think whoever's on the right, whether it'll be Foden, I think they'll be able to feed Haaland. Reinders, Rodri, Geezer.
Yeah, maybe.
Their team is still friggin' strong, Geezer. What do you think? Do you think it's going to be one in the middle?
I don't know, to be honest. I don't know, actually. I mean, Doku, I don't know if it... here's the thing. Defensively, Timber is brilliant. I think he's fantastic. I don't see too many players cutting him up and shredding him to pieces, in all honesty. And obviously, it's part of the way we set up as well. Like, we are very, very defensively solid. We've also got protection in front as well. And then we'll have guys that track back and work hard as well. So, it is going to be tough for Doku. There's worse people out there than Jérémy Doku for me. I'm not as bothered about him because I think Timber has enough in his locker to keep him quiet. That midfield is going to be an interesting one. Rodri, yes, but I just don't know if he's the same man anymore. Reinders I do like, but if we can win the battle of the midfield, then City are going to be looking, okay, fine, we need to go out wide. But I think we can control the game from the middle. Zubimendi is going to be a big key. You know, Rodri came out and said a couple of weeks ago, he's like, I'll give the keys of Spain to Zubimendi, will be in good hands. And it's almost like a passing of the torch because Rodri, I'm not sure, is the same guy anymore. And I'm not saying that Zubimendi is going to be the next Rodri or anything like that. What I am saying, though, is that if we can dictate the tempo of the game through Zubimendi and he can be the heartbeat for us, and you've got Declan Rice as the midfielder there that's box to box, we've got some legs in there. I don't know. I think we can win this game.
How are you going to play? How are you going to play?
What do
you going to play but sometimes that look, you're not playing Nottingham Forest, you're playing Manchester City. Yeah, when Arteta says, "Oh, we're going to come out there and we're going to win," he doesn't do that. He holds back, right? And then that affects the team. How is Arsenal going to play?
You're playing at home,
right?
At the Emirates. I mean, like I said, we scored 5 against them last season. We're gonna put it on them. The deciding factor is, where's this game going to be won? Is it going to get one in the midfield? Is it going to be a case of Arsenal can take control of the midfield, get the ball out wide, get your Eze's and your Maduekes charging at their fullbacks where there is a weakness? Both fullbacks are a weakness at the moment for City, right? They're missing Nouri.
That's true.
I don't know who they're playing at right back these days. It'll be Rico Lewis or whoever else they decide to play there. But I don't. I think if we can get at them, and we can, let Eze and Madueke run loose like they did again. It's very different doing it against City than it will be against Forest. But you can get at this City team. Spurs have shown that already. So I think if we can get the ball out wide and we can get at them, I think, we can win this game. And I think we could win it quite handsomely in the end, but it depends. But to your point, is Arteta going to put it on them? Yeah, of course. We're at home. There's no way.
Yeah, of course, yeah. All right. I want to see it. I want to see it.
If we're going to score 5 against them last season, we're not going to now suddenly just shut up shop as City. Plus, this City team, I don't think it's the same City team anymore, and I don't think Arteta fears them. That's my personal opinion, but let's see.
I think it's better than last year's. I think it's better. I think their team is better than last season's.
Man City's?
Yeah.
Maybe, but it will take time to gel.
The only problem is that they've got a huge amount of injuries ongoing at the moment. That's the issue. So they're actually depleted at the moment. But once their players come back, like their first 11 is mega strong. Give me your predicted lineup.
I don't think their first 11 is mega strong, is it? They still have a hole on the right flank. For me, right back and their right wing, I'm not convinced by City. And I'll go one step further, Mark.
Fair enough.
Are you convinced about the legs in their midfield as well? Do you think Rodri's the same guy?
It's hard to say. He's had a whole year off. Yeah, exactly. It is true. Coming off a big injury like that, it's hard to say whether he's going to come back the same player. Plus, he's actually a year older. But we are talking about the Ballon d'Or winner, a previous Ballon d'Or winner, the best player in the world, voted by his peers and journalists. Even if 75% of him comes back, that's still going to do it being a massively effective job for Manchester City. You don't know. We don't know.
He needs to be for City to be to get back to the levels where they're dominated the Premier League. Rodri has to be at least 90% of the player he was before. 75% is not enough.
It's too hard to say. He's just come back. He's played like 3-4 games.
No, I know, but you're saying if he comes back at 75% of his version of himself, that's not going to be enough for City. I'm saying he needs to be at least 90% of the player he was.
75% of the best player of the best midfielder in the world. I feel that'll still do a very good job for Manchester City.
All right, let me put a question to you. A 75% version of Rodri or Caicedo?
No, Caicedo.
Okay, well, there's a reason why you say that.
But I think Caicedo is the best DM in the world. And I know a lot of people are going to disagree with me. I don't care. Your opinion means nothing. This is my opinion. I think Caicedo is the best midfielder. So you saying that Caicedo is about 90% of what Rodri is at his best. That's what I would say. Or even 95%. So me putting Rodri at 75% is a fair bet. And I still think 75% of the best midfielder of last year, 2 years ago, is still going to do a good job. I mean, only time's going to tell. He's just come back. I don't really know. But give me your starting 11 super quickly, and the 11 that's going to actually go there and do the job of Manchester City.
Back five picks itself. David Raya, Timber right back, Mosquera, Gabriel Calafiori, Zubimendi. I would bring Rice back in for this game. You can't play Declan and Marino. That doesn't work. So you got to pick one or the other. So that'll be Zubimendi, Declan. Again, Odegaard landed on his right shoulder again. So I don't know if he's going to be back. If he's not back, I don't mind going Ethan. I'll just go straight in with Ethan. I'd go Eze and Madueke on the wings and Gyökeres up top. I think there is enough danger
Calafiori, I think, is a weak point for you. Because if you have a look on the last game, especially where you won, like he got run a little bit ragged. He's slow, bro. You put a pacey player up against Calafiori, they're going to get behind him.
Well, Salah was up against him. He did nothing. And Salah's still got his pace, even though he's been absolutely whacked this season. But I do get your point. I think Calafiori defensively is suspect. I really do. And I hope he doesn't get exposed in City. But having said that, he kept Salah quiet all game. So if he can do that, then he can keep City's right winger quiet. Right now, I don't even know who they're going to be playing down the right. But I think Calafiori does keep his position. He started well, and he obviously offers us quite a bit offensively as well. He plays the ball over the top to Eze, who squares it beautifully on the half volley as well. I mean, that ball straight across to Gyökeres is not easy to play. And that's why I really like the fact that Gyökeres gave him credit for it. Listen, I'm very confident. I think there's enough holes in this City team coming to us at the Emirates. You know, I know we've only played 2 games so far, and we've played Leeds and Forest, but we've scored 8 goals at home, 2 clean sheets. You know, there's I don't think anyone else has done that so far. And regardless of who you're playing, no one's played, monster games yet. So I would say I'm confident. I think Haaland will get his goal, but I'm going to back us for the win. I'll go 2-1. It could even be 3-1, but I'll go 2-1 Arsenal.
I'll go the opposite. I'll go 1-0 win Manchester City. Yeah, that's what I'll do. I think they're gonna get the win. So guys, I've been right, the last few weeks about my score predictions. Make sure you place your bets. There you go.
Well,
I've just told it to you.
You've been right about
You're
one.
welcome.
You've been right about one, which was the irritating one. And then he's sticking to the 1-0s. Yeah, he called 1-0 Liverpool. Fair play. He called that one. Not bad.
I also called another one correctly. It was a 3-0 win. I said that Arsenal will win 3-0, and they did.
That was, we've got it on record, Mark. It was me. You asked me on my prediction. I said 3-0 Gyökeres to score, and you were like, we should lace that bet. And then you didn't want to say the same as me, so you said 4-0.
But I did want to say that. I agreed with you when you said 3-0 and Gyökeres is going to win.
Yeah, man, I wish we laced that. I just wish we laced that bet. That's all. Anyway, either way.
You know what? Maybe we'll start doing that.
I've got one last question for you before we wrap this up. Donnarumma. Do you think in big games like this, again, he's going to pull off saves. We know how good he is between the sticks in terms of shot stopping, right? But when it comes to these games, and again, we spoke about control and where are these games won, his distribution is a level below a David Raya, for example. They've got to go to the Emirates. And if his distribution's not on point, that could also be a real problem for Man City. Do you think, or do you think actually you don't know what you're talking about, Neil?
Let's put it like this, yeah? When Donnarumma was like a goalkeeping wonder kid, right? And even Pep said it, like well before Donnarumma came to Manchester City, years ago, he says, this is the type of player that I want to work with. This is the player. And back then, when he was a kid, he was basically like the 12th man, right? His distribution was on point. He was forward thinking. He used to come out of the box. He was basically, it was that goalkeeper, that German goalkeeper. He still plays right now. Manuel Neuer. Like that. Then after I think he hit 20, the managers around him told him to stay in the box. So that is his strengths now, is really just to stay in the box. That was the big discussion when Manchester City signed him. Can he actually play Guardiola's way? And I believe that he definitely can, right? I just think that it may take him a little bit of time to be a little bit more open, a little bit, distributing the ball about a little bit more than he's used to, accepting the ball, passing the ball along with the defenders. I think he definitely has that in his locker. I think that Donnarumma is a massive upgrade on Trafford and on Edison. And
you think he's a massive upgrade on Edison, yeah?
Yeah. But don't forget, people class Donnarumma as like one of the best goalkeepers in the world. They do say that.
Well, here's the thing, right?
They haven't said that about Edison for years. Edison's a little bit gone. He's a little bit washed. He wasn't doing the job. Remember, a couple of times last season, the season before, he was dropped by Pep Guardiola because he wasn't performing. Donnarumma's a massive upgrade. And if he adapts to the levels of Pep Guardiola's requirements, which I do believe he will, they have a real asset. He's a game changer for them. That's my opinion.
Yeah, fair enough. I don't know about massive upgrade because here's the thing. I'm looking at it because we've obviously got them coming up this weekend. I was keeping a keen eye on the game against United when he did have the ball. And those balls that he's playing out from the back to left back or just dropping into that slightly the number 8 left side of the midfield, his distribution was pretty poor, if I'm being honest. A lot of misplaced passes, and it's those 40-yard passes that he's struggling with there. And a few times he played him.
Yeah.
And every time he's pretty much finding a United player or he was going into no man's land. And I think it's going to be a problem. I know you might be right that he might adapt and it takes time. These things do take time to adapt. But you're playing against a United, you're 2-3-0 up and you're playing these passes and you're struggling. You're not going to have the same time going away to the Emirates, and you're not going to be up against the same team like Man United. You're going to be up against a well-drilled, well-organised, one of the best teams in the league. So I think Donnarumma, there's a pressure point there that Arsenal should be pressing at. I think we should put it on him early, because if we can make him wobble a bit at the back and play some passes out where they go out for throw-ins or whatever, we can get the crowd on top of City, and I think that could be a real big moment in the game as well. So I think we'll do that. I think we'll put it on him because his distribution was poor against United. I'll call a spade a spade.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I agree. But don't forget, you're talking about someone who won the league with PSG. Okay, fair enough. It's not the biggest achievement, but don't forget they also won the Champions League, and he was a massive part of that. And that was just last year.
Yep.
Right. So I think the only thing with Donnarumma is getting used to the league, because as you said, you're playing in a league which is extremely intensive, where he's going to get smothered, and I don't think he's going to be used to that. So judging Donnarumma right now, so he's just come into a brand new league. As with any new player that comes in the Premier League, you need to give a little bit of time to adapt, to go stronger, to get used to the pace, to get used to the intensity, to get used to the smothering. So I don't think maybe we'll see the best. I think he might have a bit of a wobble for a few months, but that's just adapting. And that's in my opinion. But he is a world-class goalkeeper. His distribution isn't the best. But as I said, I think that Pep Guardiola and Man City's goalkeeping coaches will teach him eventually, hopefully for them, sooner rather than later, how to play the Guardiola way. And actually brushing up on your touches, on your distribution. These things, come on. He's world-class, bro. He's world-class.
There is
I think they have a really good asset. And
Gone. I was going to say, there's no denying.
You said
he's world class. There's no denying he's world class. Like the guy between the sticks, we saw him pull off a really top draw save again yesterday. I just think he may struggle with that distribution point. But let's see, guys. Let us know if you agree with what our thoughts are around Donnarumma. But also, just as a recap before I kick it over to Mark to land the plane, Mark has gone for a 1-0 reverse win for City at the Emirates this weekend. I'm going 2-1 Arsenal. Let us know what you think, guys. I want to hear from Arsenal fans. I want to hear from City fans. I want to hear from neutrals. Or what is the score going to be? Are these two teams going to be title challengers, or are Liverpool going to walk it again this season? Can these two put it on them? If so, this is a big game. So let us know what you think the goals are. I want to know what the scores are. I want to know what your predictions are. Mark, bring it home.
Guys, if you'll see more of our content, make sure you click this video right here and we see you lot in there. Nice.